Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Monomaniac93 here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of James Bond's Skyfall. This movie came out last year, 2012, I believe in November, and today is September of 2013. And I know it's been almost a year since the movie came out, but I just want to talk about it. Why not just make a review of a movie, of a James Bond film, one of my favorite beloved franchises, James Bond. So, just before I start my review, I want to let you all know that one of my subscribers, Mr. Tardy's11, has a great review of Skyfall on his channel, so please go check that out. And if you haven't subscribed to him, go ahead and subscribe to him. And I'm going to post a link below this video so you all can go check out his Skyfall review. So let's cut to the chase. Is this movie great? Is this movie amazing? Yes, it is, absolutely. This movie came out in 2012, like I said. And I have to say that 2012 was a great year for movies. And personally, Skyfall was my second favorite movie of 2012, just behind The Dark Knight Rises. I absolutely loved this film when it came out. I thought it was fantastic. This movie had so much hype going into it. People were calling it the best James Bond film ever. And, well, I think it might not have lived right up to like all the crazy hype. I felt that it was still fantastic. I thought Sam Mendes did a job well done with it. So definitely it was a great film to watch in a great year of movies, 2012. And I'm just gonna say it's personally a top 5 James Bond for me. I probably have to put it number 3 on my list behind Goldfinger and From Russia with Love. I mean, both those films are just classics, but I mean, this movie is just great. It's just so fun to watch and so entertaining and enjoyable. So let's start off with the opening of this movie. Fantastic. I think the opening of Skyfall, for me, is the best part of the film. You just can't get any better than that. It starts off in Istanbul, Turkey, with a great and intense, riveting action sequence. James Bond, he comes out, his little quick entrance at the beginning, where he comes out of the door. He just pops into the shadows, and then he's hunting down some Turkish guy that has the codes or something like that. And then you see him in a car chase, and then they're in a bike chase, and then they get on a train, and it's just fantastic. It's just great entertainment. Just the opening action sequences is fantastic. I want to say it topped Casino Royale's action sequence, and Casino Royale's action sequence at the beginning was great too, but I just like this one a little bit better. I mean, just everything to it, the guns, I mean, everything. It was just fantastic. And then the action sequence leads into the Skyfall theme song from Adele. And you see Daniel Craig go into the water, and then they start playing Skyfall from Adele. Absolutely love the song. I'm going to say it's actually my favorite of the entire James Bond franchise, favorite James Bond theme song. Skyfall from Adele is my favorite. It's probably right up there with Goldfinger from Shirley Bassey, I believe that's her name. Goldfinger from that movie, and then Skyfall by Adele. Those are my top 2 James Bond songs of all time. So I just thought the opening was the best part to this film. Absolutely fantastic. Can't get any better than that. So with that said, the plot to this movie is very simple. This is a very simple James Bond movie. And this is one of the reasons why I love this film and other James Bond films like From Russia with Love, is because they just have a very simple, straightforward, easy plot to understand. There's a lot of times when you go into movies that are really confusing, or and especially a lot of James Bond films like Thunderball, and other movies like that are the plot is just really confusing, and it's really like hard to follow up with what's going. Skyfall is not like that. Skyfall is very simple. At the beginning, this guy steals a list with all the MI6 agents, and they're just giving it to the cyber terrorists. It's so simple, so straightforward. I mean, you won't need to look on Wikipedia to figure out the plot. Like, you will know the plot when you see it. You will understand it. It's just so simple, and that's one of the things I loved about it, is how the plot is just so simplistic and easy to follow, and that's a compliment to Sam Mendes and Skyfall. So I'm just gonna say that the plot is simple and straightforward and easy to follow. So I give credit to them. When a lot of movies these days, it's just so difficult to kind of keep up with what's going on. I'm going to say this, too, about Skyfall. There's 23 James Bond films. Everyone has their own favorite. There's no, definitive, this is the James Bond film, that everybody loves. Everyone's got their favorite. Goldfinger, Casino Royale, The Spy Who Loved Me, everyone's going to pick a favorite. But I will say this about Skyfall, whether it's your favorite or not your favorite, or if you don't really care for it, everyone should admit that Skyfall, out of all the James Bond films, is the most well-made film out of all the other 22 films. Well-made, meaning the cinematography, the music score, the soundtrack, the fighting, the dialogue. I mean, just everything that goes into making a movie. Skyfall is just a really well-made movie. The cinematography, I believe his name is Roger Deakins. That's the cinematographer. This movie just looks breathtaking. It's beautiful. It's stunning. You could take a shot of a scene in Shanghai and just put it on a postcard, because it's just beautiful. Skyfall has my favorite music soundtrack out of any film ever. I listen to songs like Komodo Dragon, Shanghai Drive, Bloody Shot over and over. They're just fun. The soundtrack is just great too. So this movie is just a well-made film, from the cinematography, the music, to everything that goes into making a film. This is a very well-made film, Skyfall is. So credit to Sam Mendes in that too. Great cast. We're introduced to a new Q. I don't know the actor's name, but he was good. He was pretty entertaining. He's younger, kind of a hipster dude. And then we have Judi Dench. She plays a significant role. The two Bond girls are great. Daniel Craig, I think he gives his best performance in this one. And then last but not least, I think the guy who steals the show, Javier Bardem, as Silva in this film. And he just... he comes to play, and he's just awesome. A lot of people critique his performance. They say he's a little too goofy and stuff, but I just couldn't keep my eyes off of him. He was kind of, I don't know. He kind of had a lot of the Joker from The Dark Knight in him. And this movie, it kind of reminded me of The Dark Knight, the plot of it, how, the bad guy gets captured and then he gets out. So the plot kind of resembles The Dark Knight for me as well, too. So great casting to that, I gotta say. I like how this movie pays a lot of homage to the older Bond films, like Goldfinger especially. You see the Aston Martin, and when the Aston Martin came out, the whole crowd was just like, whoa, when that Aston Martin came out. So that was a great scene to see as well, too. And then they go back to Scotland where they filmed Goldfinger, and it just really pays a lot of tribute to kind of the Connery Bond films, and just to the character. They kind of go into James Bond's backstory as a kid, and growing up, and in the orphanage and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. They really Sam Mendes really respected the character of James Bond, and he wanted to pay tribute to him, and I really applaud Sam Mendes and Skyfall for doing that. So I really respect that about them too. You got great scenes, Shanghai. I mean, Shanghai looks great as well, too. There's this one scene where James Bond is following an assassin, and the assassin is has a sniper, and then you see these glass, and then you see lights coming up on the glass. It was just beautifully shot. Really cool scenes like that. The one scene where Silva escapes, and then the cues on the computer and stuff like that, and he's tracking really cool scenes like that. I mean, it's just so, this movie's just so cool. It's got a lot of swag. Daniel Craig like has a lot of swag in this movie. He's so fun to watch. So credit to that as well too. So I think this movie is great. I think this movie's fantastic, very entertaining. I was really impressed. This movie had a lot of hype. While I don't think it lived quite up to it, like, because the hype was crazy. Like, people were saying this is the best one. It's a 10 out of 10. Like, I think it comes close. I don't think it like meets it or surpasses it or anything like that. But let me get into quickly what I don't like before I end this video. While I think the opening is so strong, and I think that's the best part of the film, you know, you got a great action sequence, you got a great theme song by Adele. I do think the end kind of lags for me, and the ending is just not as strong as the beginning. It just kind of loses steam at the end. I just found the grand finale, the fight sequence at the end, to be a little overdrawn and too long. But it was still entertaining, but they could have cut out a lot of stuff, and I don't know, they just could have redone the ending. I felt like the action sequence there too. It just kind of lost steam for me at the end. Now here's the deal with Sam Mendes. I think he's a good director, and all his movies like Road to Perdition and some of his other films that he made in the past, Sam Mendes films always tend to look really good. I mean, like, Road to Perdition is a really well-looking... It's a good-looking film. I mean, you got to give him credit for that. So he really, like... You got to give Sam Mendes credit for, like, his camera work and, like, really making a movie, like, look, like, really good and pretty. But I always felt with Sam Mendes films that his characters are kind of really hollow, dry, wooden, that there's just not enough substance. And, you know... The main thing with this movie and Skyfall is that it's about the relationship with James Bond and M. And really, M is the Bond girl in this film. You know, it's really saluting her, this film. And I just think that the dialogue between M and Connery, I mean, M and James Bond, is just kind of dry. And I felt like there's something missing that they really could have, like, expanded and grew on that. But M is just really cold with James Bond, and they're just really cold with each other, and nothing can really, they can't really connect. And I've just always felt this about Sam Mendes films, is that the characters just don't feel like they have substance to them, and I kind of saw that in this film. But it's just a minor gripe as well too. The plot is really interesting. You know, with all the MI6 agents being revealed. And I kind of think that they went on that because of the WikiLeaks thing. While they had a great and interesting plot, I felt they could have really, like, expanded on that. They kind of made this like a simple revenge story, but they could have really expanded on, all these agents, all their identities being revealed. Like, you know how, like, if you've seen the movie Revenge of the Sith, they show a scene, Order 66, where they take out, like, every, like, Jedi individually. Okay, well, I felt like they should have had something like that in this film, where, they showed, like, each MI6 agent being taken out one by one, and instead they kind of show you, like, a quick 5-10 second, like, news report of, like, these MI6, like, being revealed, like these agents being revealed. But I felt like they really could have gone more into, like, these MI6 agents being killed, and then at the end, like, the MI6 agents reunite together with James Bond and they take out Silva. But they really could have, like, expanded and with that plot, and they could have really, like, dove into that plot. But instead, it's kind of just a simple revenge story, but it's simple and it's easy to follow, so that's great in itself. This movie, I love this movie. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. I will say this, though. There are 23 James Bond films. I don't think there is, like, a definitive James Bond film. I still think that tomorrow somebody could make a better James Bond film than all the other 23 James Bond films. Like with The Dark Knight, when The Dark Knight came out, I felt like that is the definitive Batman film That's just the peak of the mountain. I still think that a better James Bond film will come, and I still think like Casino Royale, Skyfall, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, all those movies could be topped. I still think the best is still to come. That's just my opinion. I don't think that there's a definitive James Bond movie. I still think that we will see that soon. But that's just my opinion. They're all great, but I still think there could be a better James Bond movie made later in the future. Just my opinion. So let me know what you guys think of this movie. I loved it. Did you guys like it too? Where does this rank in your James Bond list as well? So thanks for watching, guys. I know this is a long video, but have a good night. Take care.